Hey there, folks. Brian here from Adventures in Miss Vicky and LLP with the next installment of Adventures with LLP. We bought a boat. Seemed like a good idea at the time. But if any of you watched the last video about Nancy and I chartering a trawler in the Pacific Northwest, then you know we decided at the end that this is the lifestyle we wanted to try for a couple of years or so. So this is the video about the process of finding LLP and getting her inspected and going through the purchase and financing. It's a pretty involved process, so hope to have a lot of good information if any of you out there are thinking of going down this long and rocky road. So if you like the video, please consider subscribing and give us a thumbs up and hit that bell to get notified of the next one, which will be a good one. It'll be our first cruise on LLP, about 3 weeks out in the San Juan Islands. Spoiler alert, we didn't sink. So, hope you enjoy it. On to the video. So, as usual, our journey started with a long trip. Nancy jumped on a plane in Raleigh, flew to Wichita, and then we jumped in my pickup and drove all the way to Anacortes. Not really sure why we drove. Maybe we just wanted a road trip, but it's a long haul up there. But we have plenty to discuss about buying a boat along the way. We developed some good criteria. Our first criteria is a boat with a full displacement hull. I think a full displacement hull gives you greater stability, greater interior volume, and good fuel economy, although at a slower speed, 8 to 10 knots, so a slow boat. Next is a boat with twin engines. There's a saying, engines fail, that's why I have two. Makes sense to me. And diesel engines. Diesel's a lot less combustible than gasoline, so it doesn't explode. Good thing on a boat. And then 2 to 3 staterooms, 2 heads, because just like the engines, heads break. That's why we need 2. And a walk-around queen bed with nightstands on both sides. Nancy's really into that requirement. So we basically had 2 different styles of trawler we were looking at. First being an aft cabin. Not my favorite. I kind of think they look like a motorhome that floats. And the other is a raised pilot house. That's my preferred model. I just think they look a lot more salty. Matey. So first we looked at an Ocean Alexander Mark I. Nice boat, but had really high time engines, and the price wasn't good enough that I thought we could afford to repower her. So then we were off to LeConner to look at another Mark I. And when we got there, the broker said, hey, I'd really like you to look at this Ocean Alexander 43, which was an aft cabin, so I wasn't too excited about. But Nancy and I went and looked at it. It was right there, their city dock downtown LeConner. And at first we weren't real impressed. It's kind of awkward to get on board. But the more we crawled around her and the more we sat and talked and looked, we thought, this is a really nice boat for the price. So after some more discussion, it wasn't long before we put in an offer on Calypso, soon to be the next LLP. Now, let the games begin. So now that you've found that boat of your dreams, what's the next step? Well, the first thing to do is make an offer. Once that offer is accepted, you get to write a check. The first of many checks to come. But the first one will be a deposit, usually about 10% of the price of the boat. After that, you arrange for a sea trial. Sea trial is where you actually take the boat out on the water, test out all the systems, make sure everything is seaworthy. And at the same time, you'll also arrange for a marine surveyor. A surveyor is a licensed professional who will go along on the sea trial and inspect everything while the boat is running, take lots of pictures, issue a report, And during the sea trial, normally you'll haul the boat out of the water too. And pressure wash the hull, that way you and the surveyor can inspect the hull and all the running gear. The other thing you can do during the sea trial is hire a mechanical surveyor, which we did with LP. Mechanical surveyor does everything the marine surveyor does, but just with the engines, transmissions, and running gear. And he'll issue a report on that. So after that's done, the next thing to do is you'll go into negotiations again with the seller. And here you can negotiate anything that's come up during the survey. You can either negotiate a price drop to take care of items, or the seller could opt to repair certain items. After that is done, the next thing to do is secure your financing if you need it. And by the way, about that survey again, you're going to need a survey if you want to put the boat into a marina, if you want to get insurance, or if you want to finance it. And a lot of banks will require a mechanical survey also, especially if it's an older boat. So once you've completed all those steps, it's time to write that really, really, really big check. And it'll go into a marine title company escrow account. And then you just kind of got to wait around for a couple weeks for the title company to research everything and for the bank to get everything funded before that big day when you can go sign the papers and have the best day of your life when you buy your new boat. You know, the next best day will be the day when you sell your boat. At least so I hear. But anyway, Nancy and I, we had some time, so we stuck around Anacortes hoping that everything got done and did some touristy stuff. Went out and got to see some orcas. That was pretty cool. But by the time we had to leave, things weren't quite ready, so we flew back to our respective states of Kansas and North Carolina, and a few days later signed everything remotely, and we owned a boat. So then we didn't get back up there for almost a month to actually take possession of her. And as I mentioned before, that'll be the next video of actually taking possession of LP and going out for a 3-week cruise out in the San Juan Islands. So stay tuned for that one. So here's a few little short videos and a lot of pictures of us on our sea trial and pulling the boat out of the water, and a lot of pictures of LP. I know a lot of people probably want to see the inside of her and see what she's like. So they're coming up. Enjoy.
With the exception of...
Yeah, see, he's already backed off a little bit. Well, that's it for now. So continue to follow along with Nancy and I's adventure. As I mentioned before, next video up is going to be our 3-week shakedown cruise where we took LP out and discovered what worked, what didn't, and what systems we wanted to add to the boat to make it that perfect couples cruising yacht. So right now, LP is in the yard and is finishing up on that whole project of a refit. Remember in the start of the video when I said the first of many checks to write? Yeah, well, when I do the refit video, you'll understand. So, but if you like this video, please consider subscribing, give me a thumbs up, and ring that bell for the next one. Have a good one.